We are live at the virtual Watkins Glen International, aka the Glen. This 11-turn road course is home to some of the fastest and most exciting action in stock car racing that involves a right turn, and tonight, the Thunderclap Elite put both hands on the wheel and attack this course for the second road course rendezvous of the season. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Bo Condon, live in the RL Productions Command Center alongside our in-race reporter and commissioner Justin Clapper. We are thrilled to bring you another exciting installment of the Thunderclap playoffs. But before we do that, let's take a look back at round number 2.
Round 2 doubled down on all of the action from round number 1, starting with True Grit on the gravel of Myrtle Beach Speedway. After 3 exciting late race restarts that saw Ryan Truex give up his commanding lead for a pit road penalty, Tyler Truex and Dustin Stallings both blow it on restarts. It became Greg Vial's race to lose, and the 26 got the job done. Race number 2 took us up north to Loudon, New Hampshire, but this was no lobster dinner as Pit Strategy wrote the script and Tyler Truex redeemed himself by taking the lead on the last round of stops from cousin Ryan Truex, locking himself into the round of 6. And we closed out round 2 in Thunder Valley. For the first time, the heroes of Thunderclap took their talents to the dirt. It was a night of non-stop action and newcomers as the front runners. It was Cole Gadget-Doris versus the newcomers, but in the end, Justin Lemon walk-off home runned his way into victory lane. As the dust and dirt settled though, the journey had come to an end as Anthony Burleson and Robert Walton were both eliminated from the championship run. And as we look at the points, it's Roger Diebold back on top with them Truexes not far behind, and Chase Leahy in a 3-way battle for that final transfer spot with Tommy Allen Jr. and Ryan Zunk. We're down to 6. This is round 3. 3 races left to lock in the 4 for the championship.
And just with 10 seconds left to go in this practice session, I'm going to kick it over to Justin Clapper, our in-race reporter and lead commissioner. What are your thoughts, Justin, as qualifying is just about to begin about this very tough road course that we're faced in with the first race in round number 3?
I think that's the best way to describe it, Bo. And with this being such a tough racetrack, not only being a road course and a difference from the ovals that we run throughout the year, this being the second road course that we go to in the Thunderclap Stock Car Invitational, is a very high-speed track. Unlike the low speed that we saw at the Roval through the infield of that course, we go to a very quick, high-gear, high-speed road course. And unfortunately for myself and the Redcom 1 63 Chevrolet, we're going to got a little less practice than usual this week, but we're going to use the advantage of stages 1 and 2. We're not running for any kind of points, so we're going to go out there and test and tune, get a good couple laps in here in qualifying, and see where we land.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. We've actually got Tyler Truex out on the track right now, and he is looking pretty stable out there. I was able to get a sneak peek of him earlier, and I think he might be one to watch. You know, he's already doing really well in the points here, but not used to doing road courses. How are these guys going to adjust to this very different style track? It's going to be coming up now. Boy, this is like the hardest turn, I think, in the entire course, and heading into turn 11 here in a second.
Yeah, and something that I noticed Roger was doing in the tail end of the practice session, a lot of these drivers have a different technique on quarter entry into the bus stop in turns 1, as well as the carousel, and the way that they're going down in gears. Some drivers deciding to stay in third, not even bother going down to second gear. Other drivers talking about how they want to take advantage and get that drive off on corner exit. I'll be curious to see if that is the advantage. And also, fuel mileage is going to be an absolutely huge factor in today's race. About 30 laps on a fuel run, 35 laps for that final stage. Going to be really interesting to see what guys out here on this road course in Watkins Glen, New York, decide to do when it comes down to fuel strategy with 35 laps and only 30 in the tank.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting in the late stages of the race. I kind of like your math there. It's not how I would have done the math, but I think it's going to make it really exciting here for these viewers and unfortunately really exciting for the crew chiefs on the pit box. Now, it's my understanding we have Roger Diebold going out onto the track here shortly, and Roger is going to take us out for a lap in his qualifying session, so we'll get to see in his view what it looks like as you go through a lap. Roger, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and get after it.
I'll try to keep it on the track for you.
We're not, don't worry, act like nobody's watching. Get a real good idea of just how hard it is to go through these turns. You have a lot of fast pace, high banked, and just a lot of elevation change for a lot of these turns. At any point in time, that wheel feels like it just wants to slip right out of your hand, and then you have to maintain control here through the bus stop, which is incredibly hard to do. You want to get back in the throttle as quick as you can, but you feel those tires spin from under you. This is a really tricky current turn, heavy braking, and then you get a little bit of a leeway on exit, but you got to get right back down on the brakes as you exit for the final turn, and then hard back onto the throttle because it's a drag race when you're putting down a lap like this, and then you'll have to get it slowed up in race conditions right here in turn number 1. This will be a place to keep your eyes glued to on restarts because guys a lot of times will wheel hop, and it'll create a lot of issues for basically anybody sitting in front of them. Back through the bus stop. Ooh, you can see just how hard he has to get onto the wheel. You can touch the grass a little bit there. It's not going to totally mess you up. You might actually cut a little bit of time down. And then this long carousel where you're just playing with the throttle all the way through before you can get back into it and use the space. Hard into the brakes, back into the throttle, and then on the brakes again. At the end of the race, this is a lot of times where people use the bumper to get wins, but right now, Roger, all he has to focus about is putting this lap down. So with that first lap nice and clean, and looks like he'll come out with a 5th qualifying position on that first lap. See, the trucks will get a little bit of air there when they go through the bus stop. Really have to manage how hard your truck makes contact with the ground. We saw that be issues for guys at the Roval. Luckily here, we don't have any of those terrible turtles. Whoa, really loose on exit there was Roger. But gets it back under him. He's really trying to best his first lap. And a lot of times you'll see the second lap end up being faster unless you're one of those guys like me that tries to get way too much out of it on the second lap. Out of the final turn. And looks like Roger will stay in 5th for now. As qualifying continues underway, there is your top 10 so far. Ryan and Tyler Truex up on the podium with Chase Leahy in 3rd. Ryan, you can see a lot of playoff drivers have spent the time they needed to at this track, and I think it'll come down to those playoff drivers when it's all said and done here this evening. But for now, we're going to go trackside as we get ready for opening ceremonies and a wonderful rendition by Roger Diebold's cousin.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red-glared, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right. Yes, it is actually a Roger Diebold family affair here tonight at the Watkins Glen International, or I'm sorry, it's just Watkins Glen International. It's not international nothing. It is the Grandma Jan's Hand and Foot 165 at the Glen. And speaking of Grandma Jan, it's just about time for us to fire those engines and grid them up. Tell them what it is.
Hi everyone, this is Grandma Jan, and I'm here to say, drivers, start your engines.
And there it is, and we just hit the end of qualifying session. Thank you, Grandma Jan. Thank you, Roger Diebold and family, for that awesome pre-race ceremonies. It's time to look at the grid and see who can tame this hard road course here tonight. Starting on the pole will be Ryan Truex alongside cousin Tyler Truex, two of our 4 playoff drivers. And starting in row number 2, you've got Chase Leahy, one of our other playoff drivers, alongside Ryan Zunk. Guess what? Another playoff driver. And while we're at it, the entire top 5 taken up by our playoff drivers. Only Tommy Allen Jr. not holding up in that top 5, but don't worry, he's coming up here soon. Alongside Cole Gadjadoris, starting in the 6th place. He was very strong at Bristol Dirt. Can he take that momentum to a road course? Row 4, you've got Greg Vielle. He won 2 weeks ago alongside Matt Gold, one of our newcomers in the 45. Rounding out the top 10 is Tony Burleson, unfortunately eliminated last week alongside Steven Chiric. Row 6, you've got Seth Gadjadoris and Justin Clapper, our in-race reporter. Starting in the 13th spot, Bobby Grant alongside Tommy Allen Jr., our final playoff driver. He's going to have to work through some traffic today. Let's see how quickly he can get up there and if he can get those valuable stage points. And rounding out our field, it's Brandon Cash, the fan favorite, the most popular driver in this league, in that 11 machine. And he's going to be coming up through the field quick, especially if he wheel hops it into turn 1 like I would. But don't worry, Brandon, I don't think you'll do that. All right.
You never know, man.
You never know. You never know. I somehow thought you might be out there. I think I have my logo up covering people's faces. Whatever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get this thing rolling. See if I have any of my in-race reporters out there. Well, no one wants to talk. Well, Brandon, what is going through your mind as we get ready to get things rolling? Doesn't look like you had the best time qualifying, but how many laps were you able to put down in practice? Do you feel good going out there? Are you going to be able to kind of climb through this field, do you think?
Excellent question, Bo. I downloaded this map package about 15 minutes ago, and I've got about 4 laps on this track, so we're looking really good. Never been here, never raced another video game before, so we're just gonna probably just race 2 laps and then park it. I don't know. We'll see.
I got faith in you. I think you'll be fine. Use this stage 1 as an opportunity to kind of learn the track. I think that's kind of what you'll have to do. And actually, I'm noting a couple guys didn't put laps down behind you. It looks like Matt Garrett in the 7. That would also be David Burns and Robert Walton and Jordan Drassic. That's why they weren't in the grid. They did not do a Q lap. So you're going to have some pressure behind you at the beginning. But hey, you know what? You did not qualify technically last.
I mean, right? I'm already winning.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned. We'll go up and look at our front. You can see the lights are already off on the pace truck. Big road course like this, there's not going to be a lot of downtime on these cautions because we're not trying to be here for 20 minutes per yellow flag. Speaking of yellow flags, you'll only have localized caution unless race control deems it to be necessary to do a full course yellow. That's going to have to be a multi-car crash or someone stuck in a racing lane. So look for that this evening to play a factor, especially knowing that we do have 4 sets of tires, but you're not going to have that perfect math on gas when it comes to stages 1 and 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the pace truck is about to pull through turn number 11. This is Grandma Jan's Hand and Foot 165. It's a beautiful card game. We're going to see tonight, though, who has the hot hand and can win at the Glen. For now, it's the Truex boys at the front, and let's let the thunder roll. Everyone does a really good job of getting through turn 1, and Ryan Truex is already getting pressure now from Tyler Truex. As they get heavy on the brakes and enter the bus stop, you'll see him get a little bit of air here, but already a lot of speed out of these top 2.
I can tell you already, Bo, there's a lot of hand and foot movement.
A lot of hand and foot movement back there, Brandon. Looks like a lot of fun, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
Back towards the center of the field. Ooh, you can actually see someone has gone off course. Looks like that may have been... It was actually the 26 of Greg Vielle. A lot of white trucks out here today. That's going to be a problem for all these virtual spotters and my damn self. Couple different passes being made up through the bus stop. Looks like Tony Burleson is actually getting pressure now. No, that's another red truck. I'll keep changing your paint schemes. That may actually be that as Cole Gadjadores in the 89 in a red and white truck this week. tell you, the way they're going through here, it does not feel like a road course. These are really fast laps. Wow, you can see just how loose Cole Gadjadores got there on the exit of the bus stop. That's going to give room for the 63 of Justin Clapper to go under him and move forward. Check on our leaders. The two Truex trucks have really pulled away. It's Chase Leahy behind them. Oh, there goes the 69. Gives a look on the marquee Spa 40. Does not clear. Does not really even get to a place where he could get inside of him. But he is looking. I don't think the 40 is going to give him the room, though. Behind them, oh, Chase Leahy gets way loose in the bus stop. That was interesting. We'll go back and take a look at just how loose he got. Here it is up close. Just gets a little hard on the brakes, creates a wheel hop, and is able to save it and really keep his momentum going. That's a puckered moment right there. We'll go back and check on him as he's got pressure from Ryan Zunk. And as we check on him, we'll go ahead and take our first look this evening at the TLC Incorporated Thundercam. Looks like Chase Leahy may have gone offline for the moment. Oh, there he is. He's back. There's a new look from Chase Leahy in that TLC Thunderclap, or TLC Incorporated Thundercam. You can see his hands on the wheel and a camera facing towards him, so you can get a gist of just how focused these guys have to be and how hard he is on the wheel. It looks like the whole room is shaking when he has to get back on the wheel. Big hand movements, a lot of work to keep that car straight. We thank Chase Leahy for giving us an in-car view and hope that he can continue to work his way up through the playoffs. One of my Championship 4 driver selections. And of course, we thank TLC Incorporated Irrigation, Outdoor Lighting, Drainage, and Garage Makeovers for jumping on and sponsoring the TLC Thundercam. We rejoin our leaders. Not a lot has changed. It's still the 40 up front. And the 69 has fallen back just a little bit. A bit of a race summary and kind of break down the stages for you. Stage 1 is 15 laps, so we've got 11 more to go in stage number 1 as they fan out. 10 points awarded to the top 10 drivers. Stage 2 will be 30 laps, and then we'll go for a total of 65 laps with 4 sets of tires and a daring fuel strategy that all these drivers already kind of have to be thinking about. When you're at a road course like this, each lap you're really worrying about how you're going to save fuel. So you might start letting off the gas a little early in some areas. If you're not being pressured by a driver, kind of coast around a little bit. It looks like if you're Roger Diebold in the 38, though, you're moving forward as he just made a pass around Chase Leahy out of the carousel and now is going to try and see if he can't chase down them Truex boys.
A lot of chasing going on right now.
A lot of chasing, a lot of cat and mouse going on. '63 and the 83 in a battle now. 83 of Steven Chiric. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is one of our newcomers, and he has not filled out the discovery form for me to know how to say it. So I apologize, Steven, if it is not pronounced Chariq, but it will be for the rest of the evening. Let's check in on Tommy Allen Jr., one of our other playoff drivers who started deep in the field and really has not moved up through it. These trucks have really fanned out a lot. He's moved up one position to 13th place. Oh, looks like Brandon Cash may have ran into some issues there through the carousel.
You know, I've been told there that's the best seat in the house, and you know I gotta agree.
Yeah.
I parked myself there for about half a lap, and that was great.
Nice. Nice. Did you get any fans jump over to sign your autograph or anything like that?
You know, I was waiting for the guy to jump in with the window with the hat, but yeah, I didn't see it.
If you had a Matt Kenseth
Not
paint
too
scheme, it
many,
might have worked.
Fans out here for Brandon Cash.
Hey, you're always number one in our hearts. Looks like the 69 is actually caught back up to the 40. Is the 40 playing cat and mouse? Is he trying to make the 69 use more fuel? You have to think that he is using more. Trying to pressure the 40 to make a mistake, and that's a tall order if you look at the 40's criteria this season. Of course, we did see one significant mistake out of the 40 truck earlier this season, and that was last week when I believe they said he got a speeding penalty, which caused him to go to the back of the line on a green-white checker restart after essentially dominating most of the event. As we send it up to the Grandma Jan's blimp, you can get an idea of the scope of this race course and just how large it is, and right now how significant the gap is between Roger Diebold and Chase Leahy to those other guys. Roger Diebold so far running a fairly clean race. He's just under a half a second slower than our fastest lap, which was a 1:16.52 by Steven Chariq. He put that down on lap. Actually, we believe it was the last lap. Well, as we reach the halfway point in this first stage, we're going to go ahead and take our first Rolling Thunder of the evening. This one goes out to our wonderful sponsor out of Joppa, Maryland, Midway Liquors. Let's check up on what they're drinking at the bar.
Do you smell the fantastic nuance in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's new tequila? It's Terramana, and we got it. You want to go one-on-one with the great one? We have the most electrifying tequila in the sports entertainment world. Terramana is a project spearheaded by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And what they've done here is made a fantastic value-driven product that can be sipped on its own like high-end tequilas or enjoyed in a great cocktail. The Blanco is fresh with citrus and sort of a little bit of earthy and grassy notes to it, while the Reposado has sweet vanilla aromas, a really soft, smooth finish. The Terramana Blanco is my favorite out of the two. Classic tequila flavors. It reminds me of old school tequila. You smell the agave, you smell the sort of spicy, grassy, classic herbaceous note that I like from really good tequila. This is not whitewashed, boring. This isn't mass-produced tequila. This is tequila made with care and love, made in a very sustainable way. And for the price point, I think one of the best tequilas I've tasted. Beautiful for sipping on its own, but I would absolutely love it in a margarita. And that is smooth. The Reposado is made, aging in oak, of course. You really pick up some of those flavors from the oak. The vanilla, sort of a baked pineapple aroma. But you can still smell the grassy, sort of minerally flavors from the agave that are in the Blanco. The Reposado has a nice amount of oak on it, so you taste a little bit of that vanilla and a little bit of creme brulee note just sort of dancing around above it with a little bit of sort of a baked pineapple flavor to it. Also in the Reposado, a fantastic smooth finish with a little bit of sweetness added from the barrel. This is artisanal small batch. You can tell that people took pride in creating this product. The Blanco and Reposado will go great whether you're sipping it with friends just on the rocks, neat, or in a fantastic classic cocktail like the margarita. They're as good as any of the premium tequilas that I've tasted, and they'll make your cocktail better. You jabronis better get your hands on some Terramana tequila at Midway Liquors, Route 40 in Joppa. Cheers. On the nose.
Robert, I could use some help up front, please.
As we rejoin things live back at the track, it's still Ryan Truex with a commanding lead, Tyler Truex following suit, and then Roger Diebold in third. Matt Gold has actually moved up into the fourth position, got around Chase Leahy in the 34. That is your top 10 as they sit now with just 4 to go in stage number 1. Gotta shout out my people in the comments tonight, looking good out there. A lot of love for Tommy Allen Jr. I am going to have to see this Civic wrap that is a Tommy Allen Jr. wrap that Magic World 225 is going to put on his machine. I demand you send photos when complete. You must. We've got Vukik. Or, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. He's saying it's going to be Tommy Allen or one of the Truex boys. No love for Roger Diebold out there or Chase Leahy, our other playoff guys. Even Ryan Zunk, not hearing anybody pulling for Zunk tonight. So kind of a split crowd right now. But great to see you all in the comments. Great to hang out with everybody. Thank you for joining us here for the Grandma Jan Hand and Foot 165 here at the Watkins Glen International. We'll go ahead and take you through the field now. As we just talked about, Ryan Truex and Tyler Truex have been up front all day long. Got Roger Diebold on hot pursuit right now. He has fallen back to 6 seconds back. He had that as small as 3 seconds earlier, but unfortunately, that gap is getting bigger, but he could be playing some strategy. Matt Gold following them in the 45. Looks like a Watermelon Man paint scheme that he has there with the Plan B sails on it. Or I guess it would be called Circle B diecast now. And rounding out our top 5, it's our Thundercam, Kubi's Cam driver, Chase Leahy in the 34 Sim4U machine. Steven Sharik, like I said, he had a very fast lap earlier. Still, actually looks like, I'm sorry, it was a typo. His lap actually was a second slower, but I am dyslexic. Tyler Truex with the fastest lap, a 15.560. There's that good dyslexic. Tony Burleson actually running in the 7th place. Unfortunately eliminated last week with Greg Vielle, our winner from Myrtle Beach in that Tyler Truex racing machine, in the 8th position. Matt Garrett has actually moved all the way from not qualifying to the 9th position. He just got around Cole Gadjadoris, who is in a heated battle with Ryan Zunk in that GoDaddy machine. You can actually see a significant amount of damage on the driver's side door of the 89. that's not fun for nobody. As they storm down into turn number 1, I think Zunk, knowing that he's racing for a championship still, he's going to want to get around this 89 and see if he can't get the final playoff spot. This right now is the battle to watch. If Zunk is able to, he could pick up 3 positions here. It's going to be difficult, but he does have the... He's closer than I'd say a lot of the other guys are right now. We've gotten pretty spread out in this first stage. You heard Clamp mention in the pre-race show that it was going to be a test session, really, for this first stage. And you might have that through a lot of guys in the field that have not put a lot of laps down here. But as we rejoin the front group, it will be Ryan Truex that gets the stage 1 win. Ryan Zunk will stay where he was in 11. You should see the caution flag fly here shortly. As all 10 drivers go by, race control will likely let the field catch up. I reckon they'll actually have to pull through this last lap. And right now it doesn't look like Ryan Zunk. He had really didn't have that far to go, but now they have spread out. You can see actually how much grass they're using there with this blimp view. But coming down into turn number 1 as he has passed the green, or not the, well, he's gotten the green, white checkered flag. We'll now wait for the top 10 to come through. Gosh, when these guys are spread out, it's making it tough for me, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm breaking the 4th wall here. Tough when they're this spread out.
It's a big track, Bo. Real big track.
It's a big track. I don't know where anybody is, Brandon. I got to tell you. But as they run, this will be your top 10 for stage number 1. Notable playoff drivers, the Truexes, Roger Diebold, and Chase Leahy, all getting points. And actually, it looks like Ryan Zunk did get up to the 10th position. May have been that Cole Gadjadores at the time was a lap down. No, actually, it looks like Cole Gadjadores may have given him the position as they were coming through. We'll see if we can't go back and look at that. Yeah, it looks like right here you can actually see very classy move by the 89. Goes up high, allows Ryan Zunk to get the position and get that stage point. Very cool move out of the 89 of Cole Gadjadores. Allows Ryan Zunk to get 1 point closer. And unfortunately for all my 88 Tommy Allen Jr. fans in the comments, no stage points for the 88. So you guys, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. Maybe he's playing the long game here. And he's not worried about the stages, worried about getting the W. Maybe he's going to use some fuel strategy and do just that. But for now, the field is going to try and catch up to Ryan Truex. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back here for pit stops shortly.
Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the time to get your landscape lighting system tuned up for the summer months. You're going to have people over your house. You want to have your home, your back deck, back patio, around your swimming pool, all your landscape lighting tuned up and ready. Give us a call here at the office, 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to get that scheduled for you.
We'll pull back into that commercial break later, but want to make sure that we do cover pit stops. They are pulling down pit road now. And basically the entire field is in, led by Ryan Truex. Ooh, 69 had to back up a little bit. That's going to hurt his stop. And Roger Diebold is actually going to beat the 69 out. Chase Leahy did not have the best start. He actually lost some space to Steven Sharik. Back on pit lane. A couple guys still in there. Ryan Zunk may have had some damage at some point that we missed because he has been on pit road for a long time. A couple other guys look like they may be fixing damage. 63 being one of them as well. 23 pulls off now. Here comes the 63, followed, I believe that is someone in a Toy Story car. That's exciting.
Our race control, Justin White, just reminded everybody to make sure you do not crowd the pit lane. He said, and I quote, I could have black flagged 3/4 of the field.
Wow.
So everybody got a real stiff warning there, making sure.
So when he says crowd the pit lane, he means going too wide, doubling up lanes, things like that, right?
Negative. Actually, in iRacing, it's kind of a weird deal where if you go toward the actual concrete on pit road, then your car goes into a ghost mode. So a lot of people will try to cheat that, and they'll just drift down the left side lane, and also the people behind them can't actually see.
Very
So,
interesting.
in the Thunderclap rulebook, it is
Forbidden.
it is ruled against that. It's forbidden.
Well, interesting. Thank you, Brandon, for that note with race control. I actually would not have caught that because they don't share the rule book with me, let's be honest. I'm just the broadcaster here. Lights are off on the pace car, and with the 69 having to back up there, it didn't cost him a lot of positions, but he is starting behind the 38. Let's see if we can't dial up that 38 machine of Roger Diebold before we have to go green here. Roger Diebold, it's Bo up in the broadcast booth. Do you got me?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, the 69 had to back up in his pit stall, and that gave you and your team the opportunity to jump him out of pit road, and now you're starting right there on the front row. You were able to get around Chase Leahy earlier in the stage. Now, how are you going to approach this restart knowing that you've got the entire field behind you?
I'm just praying that I don't get ran over, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know, this is what I was afraid of. I know I want to be up front, but it's definitely very nerve-wracking starting on the front row because you're kind of at the mercy of everybody's brake pedals behind you. So, I don't know, hopefully we don't get sailed off into the corner and we can get it, get filed out, and we'll see what we got for them.
Sounds like a plan, sir. We'll be sure to check up with you later in the race. Good luck on the restart, and here's to hoping that 38 is still looking pretty when we're climbing the hill.
Yes, sir. I'm also streaming too.
Oh, very good.
So
very good. I'll
got
see
another
if
Kubius cam out here.
Very good. I'll see if I can't get that loaded up on our next commercial break, sir.
Sweet. I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you to Grandma Jan and for this awesome card game that you've now got me interested in. Grandma Jan, I'm going to have to come play her one of these days and play you guys. But for now, you go ahead and pull the belts tight and enjoy the restart and keep her clean, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Him back in with the admins. The pace truck is actually about to pull off. And as our comment section said, it's a long race. 88 strong. The Thunder rolls, and great restart for the 38. We'll go to the overhead look and see if they can keep it clean. The 40 pinch, actually, that was the 45. pushes the 38 up the track. They're going to be 3 wide. Ryan Truex makes a smart move, backs out and lets them go. But the 45 of Matt Gold pushed the 38 up in turn number 1 as they climb the hill. He will be your leader. Now Ryan Truex also making a move under the 38. Looks like there is some damage on the rear end of that 38 machine. I do think he got that on the restart.
Trouble. Plates.
Oh boy, looks like Matt Garrett in the 7 has gone around. Oh, right in front of Bobby Grant. That was almost disastrous for the 14. Thank you, Brandon, for the call. They were entering the carousel, and it looks like Matt Garrett had a bad time. Now, the caution will not come out for that, so Matt Garrett's going to have to gather it up. Hopefully, he won't have to pit there. Go back and see what happened to the 7. He's side by side. Okay, oof. Lot going on there. Lot going on there. Oh, and there you see just right, did not know the 14 was coming. Dangerous, dangerous move. As they climbed the hill, it looked like it was the 13 that was alongside of him. They're side by side entering the bus stop, and 7 kind of crowded him, and the 13 crowded him right back, and there he went around. And watch just how close this is for the 14 of Bobby Grant. I mean, that's as close as it gets there. We'll actually go ahead and see what the 14 saw as he was exiting. Oh God. Oh, God. Woof. Tough sledding right there. We'll rejoin live now. Up front, it is still Matt Gold riding along with the 40 of Ryan Truex, who has gotten around Roger Diebold, and actually Tyler Truex also has gotten around the 38, now getting pressure to his cousin Ryan in the 40.
Yeah, on that replay, one thing we missed was the 80 moves. Chirac moved back significantly. It looks like he overblew a corner and spun out, and regained about 5 or 6 spots back.
Interesting. Now he did all that on the restart. That's wild. We'll have to look at the session event, see if we can't pull that up. And Sharik, is that how you're actually supposed to pronounce it?
Gee whiz, I don't know, bud.
All right, so you say Sharik, I'll say Charik. Only, and neither of us will end up being right. A lot of action out on the track. You can actually see Cole Gadgedoris also had some issues. Looks like Greg Vielle may have also... Oh, yes, that was Greg Vielle that slammed into the wall, unrelated to what the 7 and 13 had going on. A lot of action on that restart. Let's see, too, if... we can't see what happened to the 38 on the initial restart. Look at the restart now. 45 was putting a ton of pressure on the rear of the 38. And it looks like here is actually when he made the contact. Actually, not sure if he ever hit him as far as just kind of used up the lane. Looks like also an issue just now with David Burns. This is David Burns in the 20. I'm sorry, David Burns in the 55. It looks like he went off track. Able to keep it relatively straight, though. Just going to lose a couple positions there. Shake the sand off. And while we were just checking on that, Robert Walton also has crashed. Looks like he was somewhat forced, maybe 3 wide coming out of turn number 1. He was racing side by side with Dave Burns, who had just ran into that issue. And then goes high with the 83. The 55 misses the corner. The 83 almost does, and he's up in the marbles. It's the grass. Oh, innocent bystander. Fortunately, going to have a couple X from that.
Yeah, we've got Ryan Truex on the bumper of Matt Gold right now. Fantastic racing here in the front.
Now, how in the hell are you covering that and driving at the same time? You have some serious talent, my friend.
Bo, I parked it a long time ago.
Oh, thank God for you.
Let me tell you.
Thank God for you. Keeping me straight. Looking good up at the front. We actually really have a 3-way battle for that lead. Matt Gold looking good out there. Roger has fallen back and lost these guys. If anybody's going to make a big pass, I think it's going to be this area right here in turn number 1. And the 40 is always so smooth through there. Because he's right on the bumper now, the 45. But he's smart enough not to push the issue when they climb the hill here. Because a lot of guys will just pinch you right down. And once you hit those blue walls, it's like tilt and pinball. You're all over the place. Bus stop, which is traditionally a good place to pass, really hasn't been today so far. This stage will actually end up feeling a lot shorter than the first one due to the caution laps. They're already with 4 to go here in stage number 1. Looks like the 14 has had an incident. Everything looks good there. Oh, he a little too hard on the brakes, and the 14 went around right here in turn 11. Did a good job of letting the other guys go by. Back up front live. And, of course, when we go and look at the replay, the 40 has made it around the 45. Also see that the 88 of Tommy Allen Jr. now has... Oh, the 45 loses it on entry into turn 1. That may have been what happened to him earlier.
That is not what you want to see.
The 40 car running away with it again, huh? We'll go back and see if we can't see exactly how the 40 got around. Looks like it was actually in the bus stop, and he tried to come back down and block the 40, but then the 40 was able to use his momentum through the carousel to clear the 45. And you can see that just got the 45 and the 69 all out of shape, because they knew when that marquee Spa logo is in front of you, it starts getting real small real quick. Rejoining him live, he is back in 3rd place, and it is the still way out of shape. He may have burnt his tires up a bit. He may have locked them up. Oh, and he almost goes around there. Still, the 45 not able to gather it back up. I almost wondered maybe he didn't take tires. And now the the four of Seth Gazadorus has gone around. Ride like the wind, Bullseye, but not like that. As his Toy Story machine is straight up having a bad time. He won't be getting a Woody anytime soon. Never mind. Leaving that alone. Back with our leaders, that marquee spa machine is getting smaller in the front windshield of the 69. There is the current distance. And I know I have a lot of Tommy Allen Jr. fans in the chat, so I'm going to figure out exactly what happened to him about 887 incidents ago. Back on lap 26, here he is. Oh, just goes a little wide. Touches the grass, and like a pro, saves it. And goes back through the bus stop as if all is well. So the 88 still doing okay. Currently in the 16th position, though. Going to have to play some strategy on a restart if he wants to have a shot here at the end. But still,
He's good for it.
Yeah, I think he's got that. Still a long way to go here. We're just at almost the halfway point. Stage 1 is going to be coming to an end on lap 30, technically 31. As the 40, you can see he's just in cruise control. He's letting it hang out through the bus stop. Perfect on the yellow line through the carousel. Proving once again that these things are his to lose. Roger Diebold actually has moved into the 3rd place now. Matt Gold back to 4th. Still trying to collect that machine. Looks like he actually had a full-on crash. Yeah, that was out of the carousel. So he's seriously got some tire issues. That thing is not handling like it was earlier. May have used his stuff up a little hard. You can see all the damage on the side. Straight up not having a good time in that watermelon machine, but I don't, are watermelons in season right now? It may have been, he should have maybe had a pumpkin car. Maybe that would have been better. Back with our leaders through the bus stop for the last time here in stage number 2. Aren't you? You can just see he can glide that thing through there like no one else can, in complete control of his truck. Out of the final turn for the end of stage number 2. It is going to be Ryan Truex dominating both stages here today in the Grandma Jan Hand and Foot 165 at the Glen. Looking at our battle for our final spot, it's going to be between Matt Garrett and I believe is that Steven Sharik. Steven Sharik is there, but not going to be able to complete the pass, as Matt Garrett will get the final point in stage number 2. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back to you for the start of stage number 3 and pit stops. This is the Grandma Jan Hand and Foot 165.
Whoa, whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through, they wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill, I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it, I'm today's trying to top it.
Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC Custom Lawn Sprinklers. I want to wish everybody a safe race during the Thunderclap Stock Car Invitational. We provide custom automatic underground lawn sprinkler solutions to folks in Maryland, Northern Virginia, and the DC areas. Give us a call here at the office, 410-721-2342.
RL Productions Commercial Advertising. Promoting your success story. Affordable cross-platform strategies. Tailored to your ideal audience. Serving Maryland business. With global brand elevation. For more, visit rlproductioncrew.com.
Tiki Lee's Dock Bar is Maryland's newest island oasis. Put your boat in the slip, toes in the sand, and a drink in your hand. Featuring heat-crushing crushes, the frostiest frozen concoctions, and brews both local and domestic. The kitchen serving up savory seafood and the best pub grub in town, including our gigantic Chesapeake crab pretzel. Tiki Lee's is fun for the whole family and for friends. Only minutes from Hart Miller Island and over 60 boat slips, too. Tiki Lee's Dock Bar in Sparrows Point off of exit 42. Have a staycation that feels like a vacation.
Back live for the Grandma Jan's Hand and Foot 165 as the cars are coming down pit road now. Or trucks, as I should say. The 40 will dive in. Let's see. Do they do the crowding that Brandon was talking about? Everything looks clean so far. 45 in and straight out. He may have missed his stall. Or had came in when it was closed. Who knows? It tells me these things. And it will be Roger Beatbold actually beat the 34 out. Top three stay the same. And they file out from there. No big issues to note so far. Looks like 4 is out now. Where did Tommy Allen Jr. come out? I know the fans are wondering. So Tommy Allen Jr. had himself a decent stop. Currently in the 14th position, so up 2 spots with that pit stop.
Yeah, watching the 45, I'm not really sure what happened. Just kind of slung it in there, and yeah.
He may have. I know I've done it plenty of times before, where I was coming down pit road and then just completely missed it and just kept it rolling. So he.
Well, it's kind of interesting because you can hit the reverse, you can put yourself in the stall.
Right.
For some reason, he chose not to do that, and he just decided to go.
Well,
We'll see how that pans out.
we bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out for him. That would essentially make him the leader right now, but with him, we already knew the problems that he was having. Now with him, since it looks like he actually may be going back down pit road, knowing that he did, or never mind. No, he just pulled down into the lane and then right back out. So Crew Chief told him stay out. We made our bed, time to wet it, and he will be your leader for this restart, which should be interesting. We know he's on old tires that had already caused some serious issues for him, and everybody else is feeling brand new behind him. as they enter turn or exit turn number 1. Let's see if we can't dial up another one of our drivers. A lot of guys in the chats here this evening. Tony Burleson, is Bo up in the booth? You got me, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Bo.
Well, we have been seeing that Kubius tackle machine up and down and all around, but for the most part, it looks like it's been kept pretty clean all day today. You got a little bit of damage there actually on your driver's side. How's it feel out there? Is this a lot of fun or a nightmare?
It was going great. It's actually a lot of fun. I like this track. Much better than the road. I get around here a lot easier. But no, I lost probably 7 spots in the pits because I don't know. I'm just killing myself in the pits last 5 races. But no, I'm having a blast, man. Trying to work my way back up through here.
Well, we'll certainly be watching you work your way through. You've been nice and clean. It's sad to hear that you had an issue on pit lane. We'll actually go back and take a look at that here shortly. It is a little bit different of a pit lane, having to make that right turn into it, especially when you have that many guys all around you and it's not a very thick pit lane. But we will be watching you, sir, in that Kubi's tackle machine. Hopefully you can get back up to the front and get through these trucks in front of you.
That's the plan. Appreciate it, bud.
That's good, sir. Send him back to his, I believe he was in, Champion Motorsports. Tony Burleson, the 79, was a playoff driver, unfortunately eliminated earlier in the season. Running the Kubius colors tonight, and you can also see him in the Champion Tire and Wheel Machine. Well, the pace truck has pulled off. It is Matt Gold's Thunder Rolling time. And can he keep it straight and clean as they enter and dive down into turn number 1? You can see the 69 almost loses it. The 48, 45 able to clear them. Oh, and they're wrecking behind in the back. The 79 goes around. I think we jinx people that way. Matt Garrett's involved. Looks like the 63 also involved. And that is going to bring us a full course yellow. I think we might have to apologize to Tony there. Go back and see what happened. Follow it from the restart. We know that the 7 of Matt Garrett is certainly involved. The 63 comes in late. It's like the 7 hard on the brakes. Doesn't know the 79 is inside. And they pile in from there. It looks like Tony was eager to get some of those spots back and unfortunately made contact with the 7. 63 actually had a really good view of that. Oh, you can see absolutely nowhere for the 63 to go. He then comes up and hits Tony, and then I think that's the 26 of Greg Vielle. No, actually, it was the 66 that made contact with him. Tough all around for all drivers involved, but it is a full course yellow. And I think you'll see now a bunch of these guys entering pit road. There they go now. Matt Garrett is on pit road. The 63 is on pit lane. Oh, and the 63 had to back up a little bit. 7 used his fast repair. 63 looks like he's opting not to do so. There goes the 66 of Robert Walton, who looks like he used his fast repair. And the 63 fixing some damage. 79 stayed out under that yellow. And through all of that, the 45 is still your leader. And now the 45 will enter pit road. I think that's wise. He realizes that he kind of got a freebie there. And now he's going to go down pit road, do that stop that he was originally going to do. And he won't lose significant time, because you don't know that you're going to get any more cautions that'll be 4-course yellow, unless, I don't know, they pack it in like that again. But unfortunately, it looks like the 63 has gone a lap down, as the 45 will get some damage fixed. He is the first car lap down, though, so there's one guy that's definitely hoping for at least one more full-course yellow. As they cycle through, Ryan Truex will reclaim the lead, and he has caught the pace car. We'll take a quick moment to jump over and see what Bob Carr's doing. He's down in Annapolis, Maryland, working on a pier. What you got going on there, Bob?
Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. We're on a project today in Annapolis, Maryland, illuminating a pier for a client. They want to have some illumination so they can walk out here at night. And so passing boats, don't be a liability. People are coming in with boats. They don't know the area. Sometimes not as safe as the rest of us would like them to be. Specifically on a pier, dangerous. You're out here at night, you don't have the proper illumination. You might have folks that are not supposed to be at your pier at night. If you have illuminated, you can see them, and they can see when they come back in. When we're doing a pier job, there's a lot of drilling that goes in, so you don't see any of the wiring. So we cross drill 3 or 4 times, and then when we clean all that up, we pull the wire cabling back, all the wire disappears, and then we fill the post back. So with these new Bluetooth fixtures that we're installing behind us, all you see is the light at night, fixture during the day, which is really key to a beautiful job. So for all your outdoor lighting needs, give us a call at the office at 410-721-2342.
Back live for the Grandma Jan Hand and Foot 165 here at Watson's Glen International up in upper state New York. Beautiful weather out here today. The 40 of Ryan Truex has been sun, nothing but clear skies all race long. But don't look now, he's got Roger Diebold back on the podium with him on that front row. And the 69 right behind him, he's going to have to nail another quick restart. Quick look at our race summary, as we will get the green next time by. Ryan Truex is currently your leader. He's led just about every single one of them. Most of the lead changes you're seeing did happen on restarts or under caution. We have had 3 cautions, 2 of those for stages. The other one you just saw earlier, where Tony Burleson unfortunately got into Matt Garrett in the 7. That collected the 63 and the 66. As they start gridding back up, keep in mind how the points are. We're actually having an issue with our point graphic. I can show you. This was actually, just ignore the Tony Burleson and Robert Walton one, actually. But they are currently sitting very similar. Ryan Zunk, Chase Leahy, Tommy Allen Jr. are those 3 that are essentially fighting for the last 4th spot in the playoffs. And right now it looks like your top 3 are the top 3 for a reason. But the pace truck will pull off in the Grandma Jan Hand and Foot 165, and the thunder will roll, and we're going to let the thunder play out. Oh, Chase Leahy in the 34 goes around. And he gets into Roger Diebold. No caution so far. They'll keep it green. Let's quick jump over to the Thundercam. Chase Leahy lost it there on the start and unfortunately got into the back of Roger Diebold, and that has sent Roger to the back of the field. You see Chase hot on the mic right now, getting himself back situated in the seat. He's going to have to do a lot of work now to get himself back into contention here, as two of our top playoff drivers unfortunately taken out here on lap 39. Let's go back and see what happened there. It had already taken place at that point. Looks like the 34 just gets a little... Actually, he was tagged in the rear by Greg Vielle and then tags the 38. On the brakes early, maybe, but the 26 of Greg Vielle gets into the rear of the 34, and that's enough to send him. You can see he did everything he could to save it, then gets into the 38, and they all three go around. Tony Burleson got some damage from that too. He made contact with the 26, but that's going to send the 38 and the 34 all the way to the back of the field. Now it looks like David Burns is off track. And David Burns actually now has crashed. There's action everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, trying to capture it all for you as quick as we can. That's the same place he went off earlier and collects it the same way again. Good for him. Oh, never mind. Gets tagged hard by the 45. I don't think he knew the 45 was there and gets some air even. We got to jump out of that right now as Matt Garrett also has crashed. Matt Garrett into the tires on exit of turn number 1. Because he just gets real loose. That was enough. 7's in the tires. Rejoining these guys live. And see the 34 of Chase Leahy behind him. He's currently in the 13th position. Not a lot of damage, but you can see how caved in the rear end is. That is all from the push from Greg Vielle. But for the most part, you want to be going forward, and all of his aero up front looks good. Roger Diebold lucky enough to be sitting in 8th, but driving angry. You can see how loose he is coming out and up the hill. Ooh, looks like... Oh, the 13's going around. That's what I thought I saw. Back her down, everybody. 38's going to get by, but the 13 is still sitting there in the middle of the track. That's Jordan Jurassic. Matt Garrett also has gone around with the 63. We'll go back and see. They were side by side entering the bus stop. Oh, and Matt Garrett just misses it in that. Oh, boy. 63 has to lock him up. He goes around with the 7. Everything looked good on entry, but the 7 just a little too low. Hits the inside wall and cleans the 63 out in the bus stop. And both these guys, unfortunately, are going to miss that bus. While all this is happening, still your leader, Ryan Truex, 43 of 65 laps in as he goes into the carousel with pressure from Tyler Truex. These two trucks have kept it clean all race long, and things are not getting any easier for the rest of the field. You can see no one in sight for quite a while. It's Steven Sharik in the 83 behind them in third place, and basically everyone on back has had some type of issue. Go back and look at our overheads. There's the distance from Steven Sharik, and Ryan Zunk through all of this has avoided trouble, and we haven't really talked much about him all day. He is a playoff driver, and he's currently sitting in the 4th position, got himself back up to where he started. And with everything that's gone on, Matt Gold, who missed his pit stall earlier in the race, was gifted a full course caution to make his pit stop. He's found himself back into the top 5. And in 6th position, Roger Diebold taken out on the restart. He's been able to climb into the 6th position. He has a couple trucks in front of him, so he should be able to make some spots up as long as he keeps it clean. Also a fortune of all the trucks that have ran into problems. Greg Vial, one of those guys on the restart who made some serious contact. Cole Gadjadoris following him in the 8th position, with Seth Gadjadoris back a ways in the Toy Story machine. And Chase Leahy, we saw him get clipped in the rear bumper by the 26, take out the 38, and wipe out both of their chances for the moment at getting a W here tonight. Rounding out our top 10 is Chase Leahy in that 34 in the Thundercam shot. Let's see if we can't dial that up. You can see he is hard on the wheel. Full camera shake, full body shake. He's got those gloves pulled tight and his belts pulled tight. Doing a great job of trying to get back through the field. But you know that he has to be driving that elevated heart rate, that adrenaline that's flowing. At any point in time, another mistake could come. Hopefully he has his crew chief in his ear, calming him down, getting him back onto his marks. I'm sure the truck is not driving like it used to, but he has to, if you're going to race for a championship, you have to collect yourself, get yourself back into this thing. You can see him on the mic a lot. Unfortunately, we cannot hear him. Hope it's all good things, and he's able to play some strategy and figure out when to pit, maybe use some of that pit strategy to get ahead late in this one. Back up at the lead is still Ryan Truex's race to lose. Just checking in on our chats. A lot going on in the chats right now. Gibberfan88 is giving us a whole bunch of stories about meeting a couple different drivers, and I'm not sure if some of these stories are even fit for TV at the moment. Also see Dirt Racer 52. How you doing, Pops? Good to see you. It has been a hell of a show here tonight. You'll want to watch the replays. These guys have kept us busy, kept our eyes moving left and right as they have been on and off the track more than a test session at the Roval with the next gen car. And pit stops have actually been gun for some of these guys. Jordan Jurassic just pit last lap. He may have been trying to do a early pit to get all that damaged fish. We saw him go around a little while ago. Why not fix it now? And hopefully if this pit stop sticks, he's going to be able to get in front of some of the other guys that will certainly have to pit for fuel as the race goes on.
Roger Diebold has made his way to 5th place, passing Matt Gold for 6th.
Good to know.
He's got Ryan Zunk and Steven Sherrick in the right there in the front there.
Yeah, it looks good. Actually, right now, Ryan Zunk moves to the inside of Steven Sherrick. And this is real gutsy going through the carousel. Roger Diebold almost thought about making it 3 wide. Pushing Zunk like, come on, let's go. And a little bit of contact, the 38 and the 83. As they come down into this hard left-hander. 38, you can see all that damage on the rear end. That is it wasn't because he was backing into people. And now he's going to cross over, get to the inside of the 23. The 23, I don't think, knew he was there for a moment. And they'll dive down into turn number 1. Will the 23 give him room? Actually, looks like the 23 had a great entry in turn number 1 and will still have the advantage going up through the hill. On board with Roger Diebold now. Up to the 4th position after getting clipped in the rear on the last restart. Driving angry, driving fast.
One out right behind him.
Who was that? The 83 went around.
83.
He is back on track. You see this a lot. Looks like, just gets a little out of shape. You see it a lot when guys get passed for multiple positions like that. They'll all of a sudden lose their focus, lose their poise, and that's what happened there. As we're talking, actually, looks like the 63 has had an issue. And looks like we're actually not able to see what happened to the 63. He is back on track. Oh, here you go. It looks like he gets out of shape entering the bus stop. Oh, Bobby Grant actually had crashed at that moment. So cameras did not capture what happened to the 63 of Justin Clapper. Still back in 15th, but back on the lead lap, praying for a full course caution. Go back and check on the battle between Roger Diebold and Ryan Zunk. Zunk still able to maintain that 3rd position. As they enter the bus stop, Roger is really good on exit here into the carousel, but Zunk knows the exact line he wants to run, and he runs it. Meanwhile, looks like some serious ground being made up by Tyler Truex in the 69. He's now putting pressure on the 40. Could the 40 have used up some stuff? Is he trying to save things for a pit stop? This lead went from over a second to under 2/10 in essentially 1 lap, and the 69 is there right now. Can the 69 make a move here? Does not look like he'll do it. Lays back a bit, and he's going to try and get quick exit, but still that 43 is so good through the bus stop and into the carousel. Let's rejoin the battle between the 23 and the 38. Actually looks like the 23 was passed by the 38. We'll go back and show you exactly how that happened. Happy to see Dad Zunk in the Twitch chat right now. As he said, do what you do, doing a little crew chiefing for his son, I would assume, being Dad Zunk. Fortunately, now Zunk being passed by the 45. check and see how that pass was made. Looks like right here in that hard left-hander. Ooh, Zunk gets a little wide, little loose on exit, and that was enough to open the door for the 38. And the 23 was a little loose exiting turn 11 as well. Got him out of position. Unfortunately, he did lose that third spot to Roger Diebold, but no worries, still gathering back up right now in P5. And good to see you in the chat, Dad Zunk. That is his boy. Brian has had a nice, clean race so far this evening. He's avoided all types of trouble with different trucks. I mean, literally going all over the place throughout this track. He has been able to really run a clean race, avoid all of the contact and the issues on restarts, and right now sitting in the top 5, but there are pit stops still to go. Back up front.
Bo.
So, Bo.
It's been bothering me.
Yeah, tell me about it.
If my memory serves correct, Matt Gold was off the pit strategy, correct?
Yes, he was.
And he pitted later than everybody else.
Yes, he did.
So I went back in the laps and I double checked and I saw that he pitted on lap 37.
Interesting.
Now, it's to my belief that's about 5 laps after everybody else had pitted. And I remember back to the beginning of the broadcast where Justin Clapper himself said, we've got about 30 laps or so. Is that what he said on fuel?
Yeah, you can get about 30 laps on fuel.
So I believe right now Matt Gold is the guy to beat here at the end of the race. We'll see how this plays out. But right now he's currently 15 and a half seconds back from the leaders.
Yeah, he's...
That's well within pit window. That's passing. If he can stay out, he's got a very good chance of winning this race.
I agree with you, but is it too long on these sets of tires? If we recall, he missed his pit stop and was gifted that full course yellow that allowed him to come down pit road, and that's essentially what put him into this strategy that now has him, as you say, in the catbird seat. But I can tell you already, he looks like he did earlier in the race where that thing is a handful to drive, and he's got significant pressure right now but from Ryan Zunk and Greg Vielle. If he is on the strategy that we're accusing him of, I'd almost say let those two go because you know they have to pit. Let them go by, save your stuff, because with just about 15 seconds back, you should be fine to catch these guys if and only if he doesn't have to pit. But you can see he's all over the place in the pit, in the bus stop.
Absolutely.
As we talk, actually, Cole Gadgedoris has gone down the pit lane. He's on pit road right now. And a couple other guys have joined him, it looks like, or maybe the 63 may just be fixing some damage. Tommy Allen Jr. looks like he had an issue. A favorite in the comments tonight has not been able to get up there to the front, unfortunately. Way loose on exit in the pit stop. And Ryan Zunk is in. Ryan Zunk is currently driving down pit lane, making his final stop. One of our playoff drivers.
Matt Gold spins out turn 1 on these old tires.
Yeah, he's just been so squirrely throughout every run. Usually he gets about a little more than halfway in the run, and that thing just looked borderline undrivable. And as we watch the end of Ryan Zunk's nice and clean pit stop, he fixed a little bit of damage there. Why not? You know, everybody's spread out. You're racing for a good points day as long as you're on the same strategy as the Truexes are. Safe on exit, and the 23 will rejoin with what looks to be a brand new truck, and that thing's going to be sitting pretty here as we begin our pit stops. Let's go back and look at Matt Gold's incident. He was off track on exit of 11 as the 23 went down pit road. And then, as Cash said, hard on the brakes, and the 45 just gives up on him. Does a great job of collecting it and not going around any worse. But that's only going to make those tires even more tough to drive this late in a run. If he's going to still play this strategy of staying out, that's really going to hurt his chances of pulling off the W that we're talking about here. Tony Burleson, while we were discussing that, has gotten around Chase Leahy. Chase, needing every position he can possibly possess here tonight, gets passed by Tony Burleson for the 6th spot. And Matt Gold has had another incident. Looks like he just got off a little bit in the corner, nothing too crazy. And now Chase Leahy has passed Matt Gold for the 7th position. I believe there's actually another incident with the 45. 45 may have had to bail out. Everybody has passed Matt Gold. Looks like he has ejectocito, cuz. So much for that strategy. The 45 is sayonara.
Indeed, it says he is manually disconnected.
That's what we like to call.
More than likely, he hit his 31 points. He is out.
That makes sense because he just was coming off of an incident point, and that'll do it. I'll tell you, someone else who has not manually logged off, but is certainly checked out, is the 40 of Ryan Truex. At one point, the 69 of Tyler Truex had caught up to him, and it was down to a 2/10 lead. Now it's back to a 4-second lead. So maybe Tyler was trying to see if he had enough to pass him, and now he's just had to go back into the pit strategy game. Maybe giving himself distance so that the 40 can't see when he comes down pit road. Let's check up on Roger Diebold, one of our other playoff drivers. He is currently 6 seconds back. Oh, no, and you hate to see it. Tommy Allen Jr. has gone around. Is here in turn number 1. As those tires get used up, just like Vukic said, this is a hard track, and he's able to collect it back, but he did lose a position to Ryan Zunk. Ryan Zunk now finds himself all the way up in the 11th position after pitting earlier. So right now, Ryan Zunk looking the happiest with strategy. He's one of the early guys to pit, but seeing so many guys starting to go around on these older tires, he's putting down lickety-split laps compared to these other guys. He's actually 2 seconds faster than our leader right now, 4 seconds faster than Chase Leahy in the 7th position. That's what new tires can do for you. Let's check on Chase Leahy in the Thundercam. Still sitting P7, looking good. After that incident earlier with Greg Vielle, he actually has Greg Vielle a few positions in front of him, racing for a championship. I wouldn't think that he would give any payback of any kind of sort, especially not at a road course like this. Save that kind of stuff for Dover or something. Joining our race feed right now. I just want to start monitoring when these cautions are going to happen. Tyler Truex actually was off track here. not seeing where it happened. It may, I believe that there is somewhat of a glitch on the exit of turn 11, Brandon, where it tells you get an incident point even though you essentially do nothing on exit. I think that's what is going on for a couple of these guys, because I keep seeing that pop up, and it looks the same for just about everybody. Now Bobby Grant has the exact same thing.
An incident point is an incident point, whether it's a glitch or not. You still get it.
It's true, and
It's the maximum. You're out.
yeah, and I'm seeing Roger Debold now actually gets an off track. That's not an incident point. But boy, when I tell you, there is a lot of session events here this evening. Roger Debold currently in the 3rd position, now actually putting pressure on the 69 of Tyler Truex. That's really the first time in a long time that he's had a visual on the 69.
Right on his tail, number 38. I think it's going to come down to who pits the first, because we're all at pretty fairly slow lap times in comparison to new tires. So I think it's going to make a difference. We'll see if Justin Clapper's math is correct.
Yes.
If it is, that means they do need a pit here. We will find out.
Yeah, they should essentially have to come in the next lap or so. They might be able to save a lap, but of anybody that looked like they may have been saving, it would be the 69. Now, the 40, I will say, has backed up to him. That was up to a 5-second lead at one point. The 40 has certainly been laying back. He's probably able to save with this big lead, but the 69 saving as well. Someone I'm worried about not really having an opportunity to save is that 38. He went around. He had to work this entire last stage to get up there into the 3rd position. We're just going to keep a weathered eye on pit lane for the rest of these laps. Right now, they continue to stay out. It's almost like you go first. No, you go first. Now, me personally, I always like to be the first one to pit.
You know. Thing, you get fuel, you know you're good to go. You get tires, you know you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be on the track putting fast laps down than holding on to that track position. Especially because how many times, especially in our series, have we seen a last 3 laps caution that can throw all this out the window? Now within 5 to go, 38 is putting a lot of pressure on the 69. I pull the damn thing down pit road because somebody somewhere is going to get into somebody. Even this as spread out as they are, you know it's going to happen. But of course, then you have the and look in the back. I think that was the 88 of Tommy Allen Jr. It was, as Bokeek says, the 88's tires are gone. And 38 all over the back bumper of the 69. If tires are being saved, they're being saved behind the pit wall. They're not being saved out here on the track, and neither is the fuel. Our top 3 right now are all playoff drivers. Our next playoff driver, Chase Leahy, sitting in the 8th position. And don't look now, Ryan Zunk, who has pit, all the way up to the 9th position. He right now, as long as these guys stay out there, he could be in the catbird seat. I don't know how. Right now, he's not losing a lot of time between laps. He's still able to put down 116s, which has been, for the most part, everyone's pace, but he is back to just a second faster than Tyler Truex. Ooh, Roger Debold all kinds of loose trying to catch up to the 69. As close as they are now, hang with him. You'll know that he's going to have to pit. Try and pass him on pit road. Looks like Ryan Zunk just actually passed the 34 of Chase Leahy.
Yep, and right before that, Chase Leahy was passed by Matt Garrett, so he falls back 2 spots.
Indeed, he does. You can see Zunk with those newer tires. No contest from the 34. And now begins to put pressure on the 7 of Matt Garrett. This is where you kind of want your spotter in the ear saying he's on fresh tires. Just let it go. Ryan Truex still a 4.5 second lead over the rest of the field, but 2 and 3, you can put a blanket on top of them, and you just don't put them to bed yet. You can see just how loose the 69 is through the bus stop, and Bobby Grant behind them was way off course. I think he was honestly just getting out of their way.
I hope so.
He just, instead of taking the bus stop, he just went all the way into the CVS at the bus stop and got himself a Snickers. Into the hard left, back on the gas, the 38, haunting the 69. At this point, I mean, we're coming to 2 laps to go here. We'll have the white flag next time by. Are these guys even going to have to pit?
You know, I'm ever so, yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, at this point, if they were pitting, they would do it. Now, it's interesting to see with the amount of cars, or trucks, I should say, on the lead lap, Ryan Zunk pit and was still able to make up essentially 7 spots by pitting. So I think a couple guys should have gone ahead and pit, because that could have really shaken things up with just how much faster the lap times are. But there's no way they're pitting at this point. They're going to go until it runs out, I guess. It's loud all of a sudden in the in Race Reporter world, so that must mean that Justin Clapper has rejoined the chat.
I have, Bo, and unfortunately some internet issues. We had a blown motor, amongst many other things. Definitely not our night, but glad to join you here for these final laps. Looks like Ryan Truex so far, the one to steal the show as always, as he has on these road courses so far this year.
Yeah,
doing the same thing he did at the Roval here tonight.
Well, he is currently taking himself to a walk-off victory, but as we go through it, it looks like Tyler Truex was just passed by the 38 of Roger Diebold for second place. And I think the 40 may be out of gas. They've caught the 40. The 40 is out of gas. He has to be, I mean, or he's sputtering around. I mean, they went from
It is very, very close, Bo. I know I was in the admin's chat with Roger Diebold and Justin White. A lot of these guys were going through the fuel mileage process and looking at the numbers, and it's definitely going to be close here as we go through 6.
He's got to be stuttering. I mean, this distance, it was 5 seconds, and now Roger is there, and he's closing in. This is the final turn. He's not going to get there. Ryan Truex is going to get the win, puttering through the checkered flag. Roger Diebold picks up second, but I don't think there's any fuel left in the tank for the 40 to do a victory burnout. That got
that right
interesting
there
quick.
That is showing you the skill of a driver that does this in real life and for a living, to be able to save enough fuel, maintain his position, know what he had behind him, and come to the line and take the win with just fumes remaining in the tank of that number 40 marquee Hot Tubs Chevrolet. Ryan Truex will win and advance his way to the round of 4, locked in to the championship race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Give it to him, folks. Driver to number 40, Ryan Truex.
He did a masterful job all day long, dominating fashion, I mean, at some points he would back up to the guys that were behind him, and then he'd just take off again. Certainly was able to stretch his fuel unlike anybody else. And I got nervous there for him at the end. I almost didn't believe what I was seeing as that 4.5 second lead went all the way down to a 1.5 seconds at the checkered flag. And Roger was there. I'm pretty positive they couldn't have made it back to the bus stop. It actually sounds right now the 40 is currently coasting. He is out.
Trying to do everything he can to at least bring it back to the start-finish line, collect that checkered flag, and maybe give us a little bit of a burnout if there's anything left in the tank. But let's talk about the great comeback of Roger Diebold. You know, he caught himself in a little bit of an incident with Chase Leahy on a restart and had to battle back from outside the top 10 to an incredible second-place finish, a podium position for him, and definitely setting himself up to make that round of 4.
Yeah, the 40 is actually pulling up to the line now. I think what he did is he just shut it off, and he might be able to put down a burnout now. Yes,
I know
there
you
he
see
goes.
it, folks. And that might be all she wrote.
That's it. Yeah.
And the 40 is out of fuel officially. Able to make it to the start-finish line. A little bit of puff of smoke for the fans, but that's all he's able to give as he literally gave it his all to advance to the round of 4 and the first ever Thunderclap Stock Car Invitational Series event at Homestead Miami Speedway coming up in just a month away, ladies and gentlemen. But we go to next week in Xfinity cars at Daytona and then on to Dover for the official cutoff of the round of 6.
I'm excited. You already know I'm excited for Dover. I will be in that event, back in the wheel for the first time in a very long time. But wow, I that got really intense very quickly. We'll go back and look. Ryan Zunk was actually able to get himself all the way up to a 6th place finish with that pit stop that really worked out for him. I can't believe more guys didn't utilize the pit stop back there. He was able to go from way back in the field all the way up to almost a top 5. And you have guys like Chase Leahy, who unfortunately fell from right outside the top 5 all the way back to a 10th place finish, was never really able to come back from the issues that he had on that late race restart with Greg Vielle. But I understand we have a few minutes here to get, can we get Roger Diebold in here and maybe talk about his 2nd place finish?
Hey, Roger Diebold, podium finish for you, my man. This is Justin Clapper in the Thunderclap booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, buddy. I know that's probably not the position you're wanting, and second is always the first loser in your book, but an incredible comeback. You were outside the top 10 after an incident with Chase Leahy, battling hard all night long. Many moments you were the fastest truck on the racetrack. Take us through your night, the fuel conservation mode you had to go in, and were tires a factor? And just give us an idea of what that podium finish was like and what it took to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like we had the fastest truck all night, but most of the time it seemed like we were doing pretty good. Truexes were fast, man. They were very fast in qualifying, and I was just trying to keep pace with them the best I could. The last little bit there, I just needed to save enough gas under yellow that I could make it under green and hope they were going to run out, which, I mean, it was pretty close. I saved a ton of gas, and I only had about 0.3 gallons left. And like Ryan right there, he ran out during his burnout. So, I mean, it was really close on fuel, but I feel like if we wouldn't have gotten sailed off into one there, we would have really had something more.
I hear you there, my man. Well, congratulations. The 38 machine with another podium finish and a great points position as you go on to Daytona next week. And we also want to talk with another podium finisher, Tyler Truex, in the 3rd spot. The number 69 machine. Your top 3 seeds, finish 1 through 3 once again. Tyler, take us through your night and what it was like out there, and hard-fought battle with Roger there at the end. Take us through that.
Yeah, that was fun. I was just a little bit off of Ryan there. It seemed like the whole race. I just could stay like within 1/2 second and to a second and a half of him, and then that was about all I had. Just a couple mistakes, had him out there, and that was about it. But Roger was definitely the best that last round. I was trying to save the best I could. I knew I was close on fuel there when that last caution came out. And Matt came down, realized that you were able to make it, which kind of screwed us because we weren't all caught up to the pace car. So I didn't really notice that he even pit. So that kind of had us all jumble and trying to save fuel, which was fun, but it was a lot of work trying to save fuel and keep Roger from coming. And Ryan was saving, and then I'd catch him, and then he'd pull away. But definitely made for a lot of fun racing. I don't know how Roger got shipped and drove all the way back up there and had enough fuel to push me back to the front stretch.
That was certainly something that we were covering. It was actually the 26 that got into the 34, that got into the 38. And out of all those cars involved, Roger was the one that was able to get back up through the field. And that's, I knew that the 38 had to pit, and for him to not have to do it, for none of you guys to have to pit, it shows just how much talent you have behind the wheel. Tyler, when you're following someone like that all day and you know that they're saving in front of you, how frustrating does it get to see them come back to within your sights and still not be able to get around them because you yourself are having to think hard about how much you're having to save? That has to be frustrating for you as a driver.
Yeah, definitely, because I thought I was doing pretty good saving there with like 15 to go, and I was saving pretty good. Seemed like Ryan was burning it up, so I started to go, and within a couple corners, I was up to his bumper, so I started to try and save again, and the next thing you know, it was back to a second and a half gap to where I didn't even, like, I just started saving again, and it's like he kind of took back off a little bit and was saving in different areas. And it's hard to play that game because I could have probably capitalized and tried to drive under him and done something with it, but I didn't want to go out there and then use up all my fuel trying to pull away. So kind of just tried to stay on pace with him, but then I made a mistake off of the last corner. He got away.
Well, still an absolute excellent job. Way to dominate again. You guys are our top three for a reason. I think you'll still find a way into that final championship four that'll be decided here in 2 weeks after Dover. Justin, as we get ready to send it off into the sunset, what are your final thoughts after a very successful, very entertaining, and very exhausting night as far as the broadcast booth was concerned with all of the live action? What are your thoughts about tonight's race, the Grandma Jan Hand and Foot 165?
Well, I can tell you my thoughts on me personally. I'm just glad it's over with between internet issues and mechanical issues. Ending the night not the way I wanted it, behind the wheel again for the first time in a few weeks, but really, really looking forward to next week. But to continue on with what your question was, my man, well, these drivers know what's at stake. They know what they got to do, and we're looking at it. I mean, we set it up the way we did at the beginning of the year to kind of follow the way NASCAR does things, and they do it for a reason. I mean, you're looking at it right here of the top 3 seeds in the points are your top 3 finishers, and that's the way that it should be. You're looking at the best of the best are up front, and if you want to beat the best, well, you know where you're going to find them, and that's the front of the field. As you see, Ryan Truex locks his way into the round of 4. Roger Debo puts himself in a great spot. Tyler Truex as well. And there's Ryan Zunk, Leahy, and Tommy Allen Jr. It's anybody's game as we go to Daytona next week. We know all too well how the super speedways get in the Thunderclap Invitational, and we're really, really looking forward to that. I know myself and the rest of Champion Motorsports will have some beautiful schemes thanks to Cameron Hen Designs out there, and we're really looking forward to unveiling them and going out and going for a dub, man. So, Bo, incredible job as always up there in the booth. Wish I could have joined you a little sooner if I would have known I was going to have these internet issues. But with that said, man, next week it's going to be a barn burner. You will not want to miss this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back at the Daytona International Super Speedway for high-flying action, 3 and 4 wide once again. For every single one of our drivers, I'm Bo Condon. your broadcaster alongside Justin Clapper and our podium finishers Roger Diebold and Tyler Truex. Congratulations to Ryan Truex on getting the W tonight, and to all of our drivers for surviving a very tough race here at the Glen. Brandon Cash as well, shout out to you. Thank you for being my guy in the chair tonight and keeping me straight when all the live action was happening around us. And thank you to Grandma Jan, Roger Debo's grandmother. Can't wait to one of these days come up and play hand and foot with you. I need to know how this game works, but we thank you for your sponsorship. And for everyone here at Thunderclap Stock Car Invitational, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time on Wednesday night at Daytona. And let's let the thunder roll.
They are wrecking just like that. Oh, a humongous impact. Just like that, we have ourselves some drama on hand.
Things are heating up.
Forward for the lead. I think Roger got it. I think Roger got the win.
Is in the air. He is Dogecoin to the moon.
And that's the kind of racing you get in Thunderclap.